The moment McLaren's championship dream became a nightmare. Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas. The championship was supposed to be over. Oscar Piastri, 63 points clear. Lando Norris, the rising star. McLaren, untouchable. And then, Max Verstappen smiled. Not the smile of a man chasing hope. The smile of a predator who'd already tasted blood. Lap 1 of the sprint, turn 1, two papaya cars collide, and both are out before the dust settles. Verstappen, he cruised to victory. 8 points gained, 0 effort required. By Sunday night, the impossible had become inevitable. So, here's the question. No one at McLaren wants to answer. Did they just hand Max Verstappen his 5th world championship? Or was it taken from them? One brutal calculated move at a time. Rewind to 1 month ago. Round 15. Verstappen was 104 points behind Piastri. The biggest deficit in modern Formula One history with this few races remaining. Commentators called it over. Analysts wrote him off. Even Verstappen himself said there was no title fight, that McLaren was just too fast. And they were. McLaren had dominated 4 consecutive races with 1-2 finishes. Their car was untouchable. Piastri was cool under pressure. Norris was finding his rhythm. Red Bull, struggling with balance, porpoising, a car that couldn't keep up. The championship was McLaren's to lose. But here's where the story gets dark. Because Red Bull brought a new front wing to Monza, a single upgrade, and everything changed. Since that moment, Verstappen has won 3 of the last 5 races, finished second in the other 2. He hasn't finished behind a McLaren driver in 4 consecutive Grand Prix. In Austin alone, he took 33 points from the weekend. Piastri managed 10. Norris got 18. The gap that was 104 points 4 races ago, now it's 40. And McLaren is out of answers. Because while Red Bull evolved, McLaren made a gamble that's now haunting them. They stopped developing their 2025 car entirely after the summer break. Every resource, every engineer, every simulation hour redirected to 2026 regulations. It made sense at the time. They were so far ahead, the drivers should have been safe. But Red Bull didn't stop. Mercedes didn't stop. And now McLaren is racing with a car that hasn't evolved in 3 months while their rivals bring upgrades every weekend. Lando Norris said it himself after qualifying in Austin. It's just impossible to drive. Every lap we did, we were 0.3 to half a second off max. This is the same car that was untouchable 8 weeks ago. But McLaren's pace isn't their only problem, because while Verstappen hunts them both down, Piastri and Norris are doing something far more dangerous. They're destroying each other. Singapore. The 2 McLaren's Austin sprint race. Lap 1, turn 1, contact, both cars out. Verstappen wins, 2 races, 2 collisions, 0 team orders to prevent it. McLaren CEO Zak Brown stood by their policy before Austin. Both drivers have equal treatment, equal chances, equal freedom to race. And now, that policy is costing them a championship. Because Verstappen isn't racing 2 McLarens. He's watching them race each other while he collects maximum points every single weekend. Norris is now just 14 points behind Piastri. The gap between teammates is closing faster than the gap to Verstappen. And McLaren refuses to pick a side. But here's the twist that they won't admit publicly. They already have. After Austin, McLaren team principal Andrea Stella was asked about their strategy moving forward. His response? McLaren needs to be ready for Max and Red Bull being competitive, possibly having the fastest car at every one of the remaining races. Read that again? The team principal admitted defeat before the championship fight even reached the final 5 rounds. But it gets worse. When asked about team orders, Stella said, "There are moments where priorities must shift." That one sentence, buried in PR language, told us everything. McLaren knows they can't beat Verstappen with 2 drivers fighting each other. They know they need a clear number 1. They know Norris is in better form than Piastri over the last month. But they won't say it. Not yet. Because if they impose team orders now, they admit their equal treatment philosophy was a lie. They admit Piastri's 40-point lead isn't safe. They admit the pressure is breaking their championship leader, and Piastri is breaking. After finishing 5th in Austin, his third consecutive race struggling for pace, the 24-year-old Australian looked defeated in his post-race interview. "I don't have any great ideas at the moment. Qualifying was clean from my side. It was just that the pace wasn't there." This is the same driver who was 104 points ahead of Verstappen 6 weeks ago. Cool, calculated, unshakable. Now, he's admitting he has no solutions. Meanwhile, Verstappen's confidence grows with every lap. Before Austin, he said his championship chances were 50-50. After winning the sprint, he said Red Bull hasn't seen anything from McLaren. After dominating Sunday's Grand Prix, he declared, "For sure the chance is there. We'll try whatever we can." The psychological warfare is complete. So, what does this mean for the final 5 races? First, McLaren faces an impossible choice: keep both drivers equal and risk losing both championships to Verstappen, or impose team orders, fracture their team harmony, and potentially lose Piastri's trust forever. Second, the calendar favors Red Bull. Mexico's high altitude has always suited their car. Brazil brings a sprint race, more points for Verstappen to gain. Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, tracks where Red Bull has historically dominated. McLaren is running out of friendly circuits. Third, the psychological damage is done. Piastri is questioning himself. Norris is caught between loyalty and ambition. Verstappen smells blood in the water. And there's one more consequence McLaren didn't see coming. Red Bull isn't just faster now, they're playing dirtier too. In Austin, the FIA fined Red Bull $50,000 after a team member tried to remove the tape marking Lando Norris's grid position before the race. The tape helps drivers position their cars correctly on the grid. Visibility from the cockpit is limited, and incorrect positioning means penalties. Red Bull's employee ignored Marshall's instructions and tried to sabotage Norris's starting procedure. It's not the first time they've done this to rivals. McLaren now uses stronger tape specifically to prevent Red Bull's interference. This is the level of desperation, or dominance, we're seeing from Red Bull. So, here's how this ends. Scenario 1, McLaren imposes team orders. Norris becomes number 1. Piastri accepts his role as wingman. They consolidate points, minimize Verstappen's gains, and Norris takes the crown by 10 points in Abu Dhabi. Scenario 2. McLaren maintains equality. Piastri and Norris keep colliding. Verstappen wins 3 of the next 5 races. He overtakes Piastri in Qatar and never looks back, completing one of the greatest comebacks in Formula One history. Scenario 3. Piastri rediscovers his form. Norris provides the perfect wingman performance. McLaren finally delivers upgrades, and they hold off Verstappen by the smallest margin in modern F1, 5 points. A championship decided by the crash in Austin that never should have happened. One of these will come true, but right now, only one man knows which, and he's wearing Red Bull blue. Has McLaren already chosen their number 1 driver? They just won't admit it yet? Is Oscar Piastri's 40-point lead actually a curse disguised as comfort? Or is Max Verstappen about to pull off the impossible and prove once again why some call him the greatest of all time? 5 races left, 2 sprints, 141 points available. The championship that was over 4 weeks ago? It's just getting started. If you made it this far, you already know. This season's not about who's fastest. It's about who survives the politics. So tell me, who's really gonna win this championship?